What is going on, guys? This is Joss here, and today we're here to talk about Sydney FC's 2-2 draw with Newcastle last night. Sydney FC are falling apart. We've lost the A-League. That was our worst performance of all time. I can't believe we lost 7-0 to we drew 2-2. But Newcastle had players injured. Fuck you. We're fine. We're fucking fine. We're not losing I think the world is retarded. Let's get into this video. So we start off with Newcastle Performance. They were good. They scored some good goals. They drew. I don't get. People are saying they're phenomenal. If they had all these players, they would have. They weren't, would it? Sydney. I didn't think Sydney were ever going to lose that game. I don't think we were poor. We'll save that for the Sydney section, but I don't think Newcastle were ever going to win that game. You don't lose to Melbourne Victory and then expect to beat the champions. You don't. You fucking don't. That's going to be a brilliant soundbite for when we lose the grand final. But no, I don't think we will. I think that Newcastle were good. They scored some good goals, but I just don't know. There was nothing that really kind of stood out to me that was like, oh, fuck, Sydney are fucked here. I think they just scored some good goals. It was a scrappy game. Sydney scored some good goals. They scored some good goals. I don't know what more I can say because I don't really watch the opposition. I don't care about them. I more watch Sydney. So it's easier to say, Sydney, talk about Sydney when they beat Perth 6-0 than when they draw with Newcastle, because I bet you some Newcastle players had a good game or two. But yeah, as I said, I can't really say much. But I can say that what a fucking horrible club Newcastle are, man. Fucking terrible. Wasting time from like fucking 30 minutes onwards. Like, oh, we're gonna get a 1-1 draw at the Champions home ground. Fuck you. Fuck you. And then who runs away from their fans in the second half? A shit negative bunch of cunts do. That's who runs away from their fans in the second half. That was really annoying. But yeah, what can you do? Newcastle scored some good goals. They had a decent game, and we're still top of the league. Said we're still top of the league, cunts. So on to Sydney. People saying that we're bad. We weren't bad, retards. What are you talking about? We drew a game. Fucking hell, that game that I was at, there was the most fucking moaning in the Cove I've ever heard. Every time, anything happened that was either good for Sydney or bad for Sydney. That sound. What the fuck are you doing? I mean, our atmosphere was shit. Maybe that's where I'll start, because I can always talk on the atmosphere. It started good, and then they scored. And then all the plastic fucks were like, hey, I'm not singing while we're losing. What do I look like, a Wanderers supporter? It was pretty fucking retarded. But once we got back into the game, I feel like the atmosphere kind of rose again. It was never very good. As you can tell, my voice, or maybe you can't tell, but my voice is pretty fucked. But yeah, let's get on to the actual performance. As I said, we weren't bad. I don't feel that our team performance going forward was where it was it needed to be. I think that Zulo, Wilkshire, Brandon O'Neill and Brillante, last week they were getting forward. Well, not even getting forward so much as just offering some fucking brilliant support play. And I feel like this week, whether that was on purpose or it just, happened, whether they felt that they had to sit deeper to mark more Newcastle players or to stop the counter-attack, they just didn't offer that support. So I feel that we were not as potent going forward. But I think that it was more, we didn't offer much going forward, but it was very telling that our individuals, Bobo, Juski, and Ninkovic, just fucking turned up where it counted. And that's why we're better than Newcastle, Some of our players can have an off day, and we've just got such a good fucking team that 3 of our players can, carry an entire attacking outlet. Yeah, that's why we're champions. That's why we're champions. Charlie had a good cameo. He's had 2 of those now. I think last time he came on against Newcastle, even though he didn't score, he did all right. Actually, against Adelaide as well. Adelaide away, he was all right. And this was definitely his best performance. He got the pass in the lead up to the goal, and I thought that he played with he had very, very intelligent play, you know. He picked up great pockets of space, or at least one. I'm just going to say plural because I'm sure he did. He was doing very well, and I'd love to go back and just watch where the fuck he was, because he is a very interesting player, and I think that by the end of the season, he's going to be getting starts in the first team. I think that, you know, his shooting, his dribbling is still not where you need it to be, but once he gets that, you know, under his control, if he can get it under his control, he's going to be a very good player for Sydney, and then Australia, and then, of course, Real Madrid. But yeah, so Charlie's good. Sydney, not the best performance. Individuals carried us. We're better than Newcastle. We're going to win the league. All right, so as an overview, Newcastle, bunch of cunts. They played all right. They got some good goals. Overall, the game was completely scrappy. There were 2 goals from each team that, you know, kind of were just from moments of brilliance, I'd say. You know, none of them were, I mean, they were well worked, but it didn't feel like, you know, there were going to be so many goals. It didn't feel like Newcastle could have scored 4. It didn't feel like Sydney could have scored 4. Newcastle, bunch of negative cunts. If we had these guys, if you had lost more guys, fuck you. Fuck you. You're not going to win the league. Yeah, that's all I can really say, you know. This has kind of been a hard one to do because, as I said at the start of the video when I was talking about Newcastle, I can't really talk about opposition. Like, I watch Sydney play. I don't watch the opposition play. I know that sounds retarded, but, you know, when you're at the game, you don't watch fucking everything. You're not sitting there with, like, binoculars like, oh, my God, what's going on? So, yeah, when a team comes and plays well against us, it's kind of hard to tell what it was. But I'm just going to say Newcastle played well, and they're cunts. And Sydney had some good individual performances. That's where my overview is. Man of the match for me was Bobo. He had a little bit of an impact on that Ninkovic goal. I don't think it was significant, but I do think it, you know, had a benefit to Ninkovic. It helped him, you know, with the goal. And then he got the fucking equaliser, which was some fantastic movement in the box. And to any retard that says he only scores tap-ins, stop playing FIFA. All right, and to round this up, I've looked through social media. The first thing that I came across was away tickets are really expensive, and the FFA does need to fix it, you know. What the fuck? Charging $40, $30 for an away ticket to Sydney is complete fucking bullshit. You know, when people are paying $200 for a season ticket and then you're charging $30. I mean, I'm sure that's where they make their money, you know. You know, I pay $40 to go to Western Sydney away, whereas I pay $8 to go to a home game there for Canterbury. Like, it's completely fucked. They need to fix their ticket prices. But as I said, I can't remember when I said this, it really does seem like the FFA is just trying to make money now. And that is really confusing to me. Why they're trying to, you know, go out and make profit now instead of, you know, increasing their market share and getting more people into football in Australia. It really does just baffle me. The second thing, Arnie is a flog. Arnie's a cunt, something like that. Fuck you. Just what? Great A-League manager. He's going to win back-to-back A-League titles now, unless, Sydney lose to Newcastle in their next 2 games. We're only playing you one more time. And then Newcastle are better than Sydney. No, you're not. You're not. We showed it today. You guys came out. Apparently you were better than us, and we still drew with you because we've got better players than you. We've got a better manager than you. We're just all over the park, fucking better than you. We've got Redmayne in goal, and he's better than your keeper. You know, you could take any of our players and they'd be marquees for you. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as I said so many times, this game was harder than the Perth game or whatever, just because, you know, Newcastle actually played well, which is good. You know, I want parity in my league. I don't want it to be a one-team league. But, yeah, this is where we're going to end it. Vlog is already out, so you can go check that out if you want to. But other than that, this is where we're going to end the video. I will see you guys next time I make a video. Bye-bye.